My daughter turns 15 on Sunday. God, we got to get to that, too. Raising a teenage daughter. I know you all say it's all the same. Be quiet. It's not all the same. Some kids are more difficult than others, and it is really hard raising a teenage girl. It's impossible. But big birthday coming up this weekend, and my guy Anthony Scaramucci is a major part of Ava's 15th birthday. So whether he's talking about politics or sports or life with his beautiful wife Deirdre on their own podcast, nobody better than the Mooch himself, Anthony Scaramucci. Good morning, Anthony.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, and happy birthday coming up this weekend, right?
Yes, Saturday night. Are you going to stop by Ava's birthday dinner?
Yeah, so it's actually, as I told Ava, it's my son's birthday in the morning, but I am going to stop by because I'm doing Judge Janines' show at 9 o'clock. So
nice.
I'm going to try to sneak in there and say hello to you guys.
You know what's great about that is what you just said. I actually saw Janine, Anthony, and Boca a couple of weeks ago at Mateo's. It was when she had not been back on the air, and we talked about the odds of her getting back on the air. So just you saying going on Janine's show makes me and Bernie so happy because we couldn't believe what she went through a couple of weeks ago.
Well, we're in that kind of society now. So, it's called micro-syllable aggression. You could say one or two syllables that are not appropriate to these thought sensors, and they want to boycott you, they want you off the air, they want to silence your voice. And so I don't know where that was in the First Amendment, guys. I must have missed that when I read the Constitution. I didn't see it there.
Well, you got to call Cortez. She'll still school you on the First Amendment and the Constitution. She knows.
Yeah, no, she's I tell you, she's a piece of work, but, she's got a little bit of a Trumpian flair to her where she keeps talking and she's driving, right through the gauntlet. They're shooting bullets at her and she doesn't care. So there's a weird thing about that I actually admire.
It's true.
It's
true.
She doesn't have the intelligence and the skill set that she really needs, but boy, she does have the gall, which I think is very impressive.
Hey, Anthony Scaramucci, look, there's we all know it. There's a major wound down at the border, the southern border there, and the Congress currently, they don't want to do anything about it. Nothing out of political for political reasons. They put politics ahead of the good of the country. Essentially, is what's happening here. And out of what I believe is frustration, the president is going to close the border, and he's getting hell for that. What do you make of that whole situation?
So, you're 100% correct, and I just want to remind everybody the president wanted to cut the deal with those guys before the midterm elections. He was ready to make a deal on DACA. They got scared, and so they ran out of the White House and they started saying the S-hole, nation-hole comments so that they could stop that deal from happening. That was all political because they knew if they cut a deal with the president before the midterms, he likely would have kept the House. So again, they don't want the crisis to end. They are just pursuing their own political ambition, which I find disgusting, and most Americans, frankly, find disgusting. But the president, unfortunately, cannot close the border because you're talking about billions and billions of dollars of economic trade. Arizona, as an example, $16.7 billion a year in commerce coming through Arizona. So we can't do that.
No question.
By the way, guys, I also happen to like my guacamole. Okay, I'm only going to
and avocados. Yeah,
absolutely.
What are we doing there?
Absolutely. Had a nice little bunch at Rocco's Tacos yesterday. So, Anthony, tell us this. Joe Biden's a big story today. He's on the cover of the New York Post. Even Nancy Pelosi's coming down hard on him. Bernie's on record a couple of days ago, and I think Bernie may be right that Biden may elect not to run, although CNN is claiming this morning he remains undeterred and amid these allegations. So what do you think? You think that these things start to pile up and Joe Biden decides, nah, not this time?
Well, he's got other issues, obviously the death of his son and things that are weighing on his mind. He's also got issues raising money. Those other people are out of the blocks pretty strong. $7 million for the mayor whose name I can't pronounce, $12 million for Kamala Harris, Beto O'Rourke, $7 to $10 million. So he's got to calibrate all of those things. I don't think the Joe Biden as a creepster stuff is bothering him at all. He's been in politics for 45 years. He knows how the game works, and so I think he could ride that out. I think he would be fine there. I think the real issues, though, is he the right guy? And you guys know I like Joe, but I think he's male, pale, and stale. That is not a very good combination.
I like it.
That reminds me of the old Johnny Carson bit. Lawrence Taylor, Don Baylor, Popeye the Sailor. Love that.
Yeah, but it's just that male pale stale thing is not going to work at that party, I don't think. And so they want people of color. They want people that are can form that sort of colorful coalition. And Joe represents an older guard, if you will, in that party. So to me, that's the calculus he has to make. Can he push through that sort of stuff? And by the way, and a big shout out, congratulations to the Chicago mayor, first black female mayor elected in the history of Chicago. And so I hope she does a good job. I hope she cleans up the elements of that city and parts of that city that are literally in a war zone. And so I'm all for social progress, and I'm all for people reaching their dreams and so forth. But I just, there's a right and a wrong, guys. You guys know that. That's why I love your show. I'm more focused on right or wrong as opposed to left or right. And I think these politicians got to stop the left or right nonsense and just try to really do the right thing now for the American people.
And speaking of which, finally, Anthony Scaramucci, the remaining 90 seconds we have, Attorney General Bob Barr, do you think he's running interference for the president on this Mueller report, as some are alleging?
Well, I would be surprised if he wasn't, and my reaction to it would be, so what? And I love the hypocrisy out there. Representative Nadler was saying 20 years ago, please don't release the report, the Ken Starr report. Now he's saying we need the report immediately and we got to put it on Instagram. So this is the hypocrisy of the system. It's wonderful that we have all this video from 20 years ago that we can put up in their faces. So I would be surprised if Attorney General Barr is not running interference for the president. And my reaction to that is, so what? That is how the game is played. And do you think that Eric Holder never ran interference for Barack Obama?
That's right.
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, so for me, I don't like the whole sanctimony of all that. I think we should just run right into it and say, of course he is. Trying to protect the president. The president didn't do anything wrong. There was no collusion. The president running his mouth, however, he probably did come up against the border of justice obstruction. But since there wasn't a crime, leave the guy alone, let him govern the country. And so hopefully that will come to pass at this point.
Anthony, as always, not a good job, a great job.
Fantastic.
Love you to death. Wonderful guest. Great job today. We'll see you this weekend, pal.
All right, you got it. I'm coming in. I'm going to be eating some of your shrimp cocktail. Get out of the way. Okay?
The shrimp cocktail is delicious.
I know you're a Gavone, by the way. I told you before. Okay,
yes.
So I'm coming in with some headgear so I don't get hit.
Okay, you got it. Thank you. Yes, you've dined with me before, Anthony. You can tell. So we'll see you this weekend. Great job.